Hi ladies, I'm Carla, the founder of the Feminine Energy. Welcome to this channel if you're new, or welcome back. So on this video today, I want to address a topic which is so important when we're talking about embodying a feminine energy, and about, it affects many women in general, which is about, how we see ourselves, how we see our bodies, and how much value do we place in our bodies, and in being slim, and in being skinny, and etc. The pressure that exists in society about that. And it's very much discussed, a lot said about when you are embodying a feminine energy, that it's, you have to, a lot of people say this, you have to be slim, you have to be skinny, you have to be fit, and all those things. And what I see, which is simply not true. And what I see is a lot of women, starting to have eating disorders, and due to that, or they already had eating disorders and just getting worse because of that, because the goal of embodying your feminine energy is to feel good in your body. It's not to become something else. It's not to place the value on those things. It's to become empowered and authentic and genuine, who you truly are. And you are enough as you are. It's not about having the perfect size, or the perfect weight, or the perfect looks. So it's an inner work. It's an inner work on becoming your best version of yourself, um, and just living your best life. Really has nothing to do with those things. And there's no rule saying that you have to be slim, or have to be skinny, or have to have this weight in order to be feminine, right? So to talk more about this, I invited Dr. Cristina Castagnini. She's an expert in treating eating disorders, in helping people with eating disorders. And I think she's the best person to address this topic. Dr. Cristina, she also has a very successful podcast called Behind the Bite podcast. I'm leaving the description, the link to her podcast in the description here on this video, so you can find more about her, and her work, and her podcast, and how to contact her if you feel called, to contact her. So I'm gonna, leave you with Dr. Cristina, and just leave a comment, at the end of the video. I would love to let you know, to hear from you. So, and you let us know what you think, and what you feel, and what have been your experiences. Have a nice day.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Dr. Cristina Castagnini, and I am a certified eating disorder specialist as well as a psychologist. And I also have a podcast called Behind the Bite, where I talk about eating disorders and body image. And I wanted to talk today about this toxic message out there that perpetuates this myth that women's value and worth is based on our appearance. And unfortunately, forever now, it seems like we are bombarded with this unrealistic, idealized body type. The one that says if you're thin and look like, we've all seen it. We know what this body type looks like. It's this unattainable body image that, 95% of women can't attain. It's unrealistic. And yet it seems like every woman is told, hey, if you look like this, you have value and worth. And it's this, I don't even understand why we are told we have to look like this when we can't. We can't unless we do some very drastic, horrible things to ourselves. And even at trying to do that, like these extreme diets or plastic surgery, or honestly, starving ourselves, doing these horrendous things. And even now, we've all seen it in the media, these weight loss drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy, things like that, that really aren't weight loss drugs. These are medications for people who have type 2 diabetes, and they're being prescribed at a very much higher dosage than for people who have type 2 diabetes. The higher dosage is what I think for some people can create the side effect of these medications, which is weight loss. But at that, weight loss at what cost? At a state of unhealth, it's causing a lot of health problems for people. And to be on these medications for a lifetime in order to maintain this weight loss, that's a scary thing. People are becoming so desperate to attain these, ideal body types, these bodies with less weight on them than they're naturally genetically supposed to have to maintain a physical state of health and well-being, because this idea is if you look like this, you have value, you have worth, and you're healthy, physically healthy. But we know that's not true. People who are doing drastic things, starving themselves, over exercising, taking medications they don't actually need to lose weight, how is that physically healthy? It's not. And as someone who's an eating disorder specialist and someone who had an eating disorder, I can tell you people are doing all sorts of very horrible things to themselves in order to try to attain this weight loss that their bodies just, they're not supposed to lose all this weight. I can tell you, people go to see their medical doctors and they see these BMI scales, right? It's like, oh, according to the BMI, if you're this height and this weight, you're quote unquote healthy. But the BMI scale is not only complete bullshit. Sorry, it is. It's a statistic from the 1800s that is based on nothing related to health at all. If you want to know more about that, DM me. I can tell you more about that. I've blogged about it. I've had podcasts about it. There's so much information out there that we know it has nothing to do with health. That's a whole nother video I could do. But basically, and I felt this pressure myself, I would look at that chart and be like, oh my gosh, I am unhealthy. Something's wrong with me. I need to, lose weight to be healthy. And so I would do these horrible things, these horribly unhealthy things. I would over exercise. I would starve myself. I'd go on these liquid fasts. And these things were really unhealthy. And my body got into a really unhealthy state to the point where, quite truthfully, I'm going to just be honest with you, I almost died. I was really sick. I had a horrible eating disorder for years. And I don't know about you, but how is that healthy? How is me getting into that BMI category in the healthy category healthy when I almost died? And I know several people that do that. They do these very unhealthy things, and yet the doctors are saying, good for you. You're so healthy now. No, I was much, much healthier. If you want to say physically healthy, I was eating better. I was not overtaxing myself with over exercise. I was not obsessed with calories, and my whole life was not revolving around food or what I was eating or like lacking sleep. I would skip sleep because I wanted to go get to the gym and make sure I fit in my exercise. So I don't know why depriving myself of sleep or the fuel I needed to stay alive or um, doing all these drastic things. I don't know how that's healthier just so I could fit into the BMI category. And I know maybe some of you listening, that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, so just to attain this ideal body size, this body image to look like the people that are out there in the social media pictures and um, you feel this pressure like, okay, these people, it's this image is perpetuated, like, okay, if you look like this, you have more value, you have more worth, you're more attractive, people will like you more. Why don't we question that a little bit more? Who actually looks like that? Do you go out into the world and see people that look like that walking around? Because certainly I don't. And I can tell you the average woman doesn't look like that. And yet all of these, like, look, the diet and beauty industry is making billions, 76, I think $76 billion a year profit by putting these images out there and making us feel bad about ourselves and perpetuating this myth that you have more value and worth and are healthier if you look like this. But the thing is, all that does is make us feel bad about ourselves. So if we feel bad about ourselves, we feel less than, we feel not good enough, we're going to buy the products that they sell us. So they bombard us with this image. We don't feel good enough about ourselves. Then we buy their products, we buy into their diets, we buy into all the things they're selling. They make a profit, but they know that the products and the things they're selling us are setting us up for failure. They know they don't work. Because if they worked, we'd try them once and then we'd be done. No more, no more things to buy. But here's the thing, we buy them and then we feel like we're the failures when inevitably we try them and they don't work. And we say we failed. We don't have enough willpower. We didn't try hard enough. We must have done something wrong. So then we feel even worse than when we started those things. And then we are primed to buy the next product because we're desperate at that point. Oh my gosh, I need to do something better. I need to redeem myself. So you try the next product and the next product and the next product, or you try the next diet or the next diet. And you're so desperate to just be successful at something, but you're just on this hamster wheel, or you're yo-yo dieting. And really, you're the one who's suffering time and time again, feeling like you're doing something wrong because you're just so desperate because you've bought into this ideal that if I just look like that, if I just lost enough weight, if I just reached that number on the scale or reached that size pant, then I'll be happy. Then I can finally go on that trip. I can finally start dating, or I can finally, go for that, promotion, or I can finally go back to school or whatever it is. It's like life doesn't begin X number of pounds from now. Life is happening right now. How many years are you going to wait to start your life, or to feel like you have value and worth as a human being, or to feel attractive, or to feel like you're good enough? Listen, you're not a failure if you don't have this ideal body, or weigh a certain amount, or haven't lost enough weight yet. Or even if you've lost the weight and gained it back, you're not a failure. These things that are out there, they're set up to make you fail. Like I said, like your value and worth is not based on the external. Your value and worth is so much more. Like, are you a good human being? Are you kind? Are you generous? Do you have, are you funny? Do you take care of people? Like, are you a good mom? Are you a good friend? Are you like a good worker? Like, what else in your life makes you a good person? Because it certainly isn't this, and it sounds morbid, but what I often say to people is, there's no obituary in the world you're going to find where it says, like, so and so died at X number of pounds at, such and such height, because that's not what someone's value and worth is. What someone's value and worth is so much more. So think about that. Like, what is it that makes you you? It has nothing to do with this. This is going to constantly morph and change over time. Like, look, I don't have the same body I did at the age of 5 or 15. I'm certainly not going to look this way when I'm 80. Like, everything's going to shift and change. That's just life. So if I'm, or you are constantly just focused on like this, you're missing out on so much of life and connecting with people and, you know, focusing on your passions and what exciting things are out there in the world. So you make your life really small when it's just all about like food and weight and appearance. So I just want to encourage all of you to embrace the things that make you you, because everybody's their own unique individual, and that makes the world such a wonderful place. And really just, I know it's the hardest thing in the world because we live in such a toxic culture right now. And I know social media's, I mean, it's loud, right? And I know that there's apps out there that have filters and you can make your body look any certain way. And I know there's like such a, it perpetuates like, be on this diet, do this, do that. And I know it's hard, the hardest thing in the world. But if I can do anything to encourage you to just look at like what's in here instead of what's out here, uh, that would be the best thing in the world. So anyway, really glad to just have a few minutes of your time. If you have any questions, again, just reach out to me. I'm at Behind the Bite Podcast on Instagram. And also, like I said, I have my podcast on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all the major channels. So All right. I hope you all have a great day. Bye.